on campus. And it is a natural spring-fed river. So it is one of the clearest bodies of water in North America, and it's 72 degrees year-round. So one of Texas State's biggest traditions is that students, once they graduate, will jump in the river in their cap and gown after graduation. They also do it in December when it is really cold sometimes, but since the water is 72 degrees, people say it feels really good to be in the water. Just don't really like getting out afterwards. You'll see there on our map of Texas that we do have another campus. It is in Round Rock, which is 10 to the northeast of Austin. This is for some of our programs. You can spend your second 2 years on that campus. Specifically, a lot of our College of Health professions, so nursing, communication disorders or speech pathology, and respiratory care, you will have to spend your second 2 years on our Round Rock campus to complete your degree, just because it is closer to the Austin area. So you have more opportunities to do your clinicals and all of those hospitals and things like that. A couple other things about Texas State is we are a very diverse population. So of that 38,000, about 34,000 of our students are getting their bachelor's degree or that undergraduate degree. So you get people in your classes and in your organizations and just kind of all around you. From all around. We have students from all 50 states, 74 different countries. We are a minority majority school, so 54% of our students are ethnic minority, and 47% of our students are first generation. So we are very first generation friendly. We have a lot of support services for our students, including things like free tutoring services. We have our multicultural center. We have our career center. Our career center is fantastic. They are working with our students, whether they're a freshman trying to get an internship over the summer, even past once you've graduated and you are an alumni. Of our graduates, 80% of those within their first year are either working or continuing their education, which is higher than the national average. And students can still, as an alumni, be on the newsletters that are saying, hey, these companies are looking for jobs. You can still reach out to them and get the resume help or do the interview prep. So you have all of those options, and campus is very supportive of all of our students from the second you walk on campus. Texas State has over 200 different degrees. Around 100 of those are your undergraduate or bachelor's degrees. And we kind of break them down into our different areas of study. So first is agriculture and food science. So if you're interested in horticulture, growing food, if you're wanting to do ranching, that kind of agriculture business. And then if you are interested in going to be a vet and you're wanting to do like your pre-veterinary, you can do our animal studies program, animal science, sorry, which is under agriculture. Texas State owns and operates the Freeman Ranch, which is a 4,000 acre ranch about 20 minutes away from campus. And so the cool thing about that is they have people out there working with real animals. There's pigs, there's fish, there's goats, there's cattle, there's horses. So animal science gets to work on that, but also the other agriculture students get to work on the equipment that we have out there and running a ranch and running a farm and how that kind of works. Then we have our business and administration. So our McCoy College of Business Admin is highly accredited. Top 5% worldwide business schools get the accreditation. So we do have elite programs in things like accounting, management, marketing, finance, economics, and then computer information systems. So kind of like your business IT. The cool thing about Texas State, there are a lot of opportunities for hands-on, whether it's in the classroom or right outside of the classroom. So for one, like with your finance classes, there's a full class where you can, lost my train of thought. You can actually trade real money on the stock market. So we got a grant about 10 years ago with $100,000, and people every semester are trading money on the stock market from that grant. It's real money. And they at one point had grown it over $800,000, but you know, stock market fluctuates. I think it's somewhere in the $600,000 to $700,000 range right now. So there's that. We also have a tax clinic on campus. So students who are accounting majors and are looking to become certified public accountants or personal accountants, they can actually work in our tax clinic with other CPAs and do taxes of faculty, staff, and students who need help on campus. So that's just some cool things that the business students can do. We also have our communications department. So we have our mass communications, which is highly accredited as well. So if you're interested in radio and TV broadcasting or journalism, we have our own radio station, TV station, and newspaper on campus. We also do in mass communications, there is advertising, public relations, a lot of like your sports media, as well as we have a newer program, which is digital media innovations. So it's really working with people who want to do social media content and work for a company that's doing that kind of stuff. Then we have our education school. So fun fact, Texas State started as an education school back in 1899, and we still graduate the largest amount of teachers out of the state of Texas every year and one of the top 5 in the country. And our most notable alumni was actually an education major at Texas State. So President Lyndon B. Johnson graduated in 1930 with an education degree, well, history and education. And we are actually the only university in the state of Texas to have graduated a US president. So that's kind of a little claim to fame for Texas State. We have a statue of him on campus, and it's good luck to go and shake his hand if you're gonna go like take a test or something or have a job interview. So his hand is a little bit shinier than the rest of him, but everyone likes to go see the statue of LBJ. Then we kind of have our health professions and human services. I like to call this kind of everything other than going and being a doctor. So this is where your nursing program is, your communication or speech pathology, working with respiratory care. We have radiation therapy, your business side of healthcare. So healthcare, health information systems and healthcare administration, as well as under there, if you're wanting to do things like athletic training, coaching, anything in the kinesiology range. If you're interested in physical therapy or occupational therapy, we also have public health under there, which is a huge and growing field, especially after COVID, because all of those public service announcements about washing your hands or get your vaccine, that's all public health officials out there doing that. So cool things like that. Then we have here our humanities and social sciences. So some of our larger programs on campus. Our largest single major on the Texas State campus is psychology. We have both like the clinical side and as well as just like your personal counseling versus the research. We have the nation's largest geography program on our campus because it includes things like geographic information systems, urban planning, water resource management, our environmental studies program. We have a great anthropology program, including a master's in forensic anthropology, and we have our own forensic anthropology lab on campus. So if you've ever seen the TV show Bones, we do that. Texas State also owns and operates off of campus the largest body farm in the world. So we get people from all over the world coming and studying on our campus and seeing how things are working at the body farm. Other things are history, your world languages. We have your political science. We have our most newest program that I can think of is our religious studies program. So all of those kinds of things there. Then we have your STEM programs. So your biology, as well as aquatic biology and wildlife biology, biochemistry, chemistry, any of those 3 you can do if you're wanting to go pre-med, pre-dental, pre-physician's assistant, chemistry and biochemistry if you're wanting to go pre-pharmacy, as well as we have physics, we have math programs, and then under engineering, we're gonna have computer science, we have electrical engineering, manufacturing, industrial, and civil engineering, as well as under kind of engineering technology. We have construction, science and management, and concrete industry and management. And then finally is our visual and performing arts programs. So something Texas State is really proud of is we are the only university in the nation that has top 20 programs in all of our visual and performing arts. So that includes our art, music, musical theater, and dance programs. Some of those do require an audition. I'll kind of talk about them a little bit later. But if you are interested in them, you can definitely check those out. They also put on performances and art shows. There's 4 different art galleries on the Texas State campus. So even if you're not one of those majors, there's always something going on within those majors that you can go and check out on the campus. We also have an honors college. So this is kind of open to students of any major that are highly motivated individuals that are wanting to really succeed in their classes. And they do have to maintain a 3.25 average while you're there. But the classes are kind of cool. You get some really cool perks of being an honor student other than just, you know, graduating with university honors and being able to put that on your resume. Honor students have really small, even smaller class sizes than normal. So while Texas State is a larger university, our average class size is 23. Now, some of your entry-level classes, you're just regular English, history, political science, some of your lectures of your science classes, those might be 100, 200, 250 people. But if you're in an honors class, you can take those classes and they cap at 20 students. They also get really cool individualized curriculum. So instead of taking the regular history that everyone has to take, you can take baseball and the American experience as your history credit. One of our students in the admissions office who worked for us, he took storytelling through video games as his English credit. Another one that I really would have liked to do if I had, if it had been an option. I'm not a huge science person, but I do really like history. And there's a class right now for astronomy that is astronomy through art, history, and literature. And you get your science credit for it. So some kind of cool things like that. They have an honors thesis that they can do, which can then get published if you wanted to do that. They have their own coffee lounge. There's a computer lab. If you start as an incoming freshman, there is a residence hall that you can live in together with other honors students if you want to. And then probably the biggest perk for our honors student is that you actually get to register early, even before all of your seniors. So you get the top picks of classes as well, which is really nice. I mentioned that Texas State is dedicated to making sure that you are successful. And that really starts the moment that you step foot on the Texas State campus. So our PACE Center, which stands for Personalized Academic and Career Exploration Center, really designs the first year experience. They do a lot to make sure that that first year you are being supported, that you know what is there on the Texas State campus, and that you are going to come back your sophomore year. So first, the PACE Center does all of your freshman advising. So you will meet with them and go over your things. And something that's really cool about our PACE Center that you don't get at other universities, specifically ones our size, is that even when you come for your new student orientation, you get individually advised and you meet with an individual academic advisor, because we realize that one biology student is not the same as another. Someone's going to go pre-med, someone wants to do teaching, someone is coming in with a bunch of dual credit hours, someone has none. So it doesn't make sense to just lump you all together, say, here are some classes you can take, go register. We really are making sure that it is personalized to you, that you know what you need to take and what you need to do. They also do peer mentoring. So they'll pair you with a junior or senior who was either in your major or kind of in the same boat. And then they also do career planning. So if you come in thinking that you know what you want to do as a major, or you have absolutely no idea what you want to do, and you're like, okay, I need help. I think that I want to change. I want to choose this major. You can go in and meet with them. They do like those personality tests that tell you what you're good at and how that would work into a specific career and a specific major. And they'll meet with you for that. The other thing the PACE Center does is we actually have what we call common experience. It's a theme that the university kind of runs around for the entire year. So this past year's theme was dynamics. We've had technology, we've had truth. So they have a lot of different programs that go on throughout the year, not just put on by the PACE Center, but other departments on campus as well as organizations will put on programs based around whatever the common theme is. They also bring in, there's a common reading book that everyone can read that year, and they normally bring in speakers that are either related to the book or just kind of a really cool speaker. So this past year, it was via Zoom, but we had Lori Hernandez, who is on the U.S. gymnastics team in 2016 in the Olympics. So she won the gold medal for that. She also won her own individual silver in either beam or bars, but I can't remember which one. And she is hoping to, be in Tokyo here soon. So that was a really cool experience for our students. And then finally, the PACE Center does our university seminar class. So this is your 1 hour, once a week class that you'll take your first semester. It really gets you integrated into Texas state life. So it'll talk about all the different departments on campus, like they'll talk about the free attorney that we have on campus, but also kind of gets you into learning about being on your own and being in college in general, time management, financial literacy, study tips, those kinds of things. We also do require our first year students to live on campus, but we have 23 different residence halls that are available to all of our incoming freshmen. So we kind of break them up by bathroom type. So if your regular traditional residence hall where you and your roommate have your room, your bathroom is somewhere down the hall and everyone on the floor shares the bathroom. We have some kind of new traditional is what they call them, where there's bathrooms a couple different places on the floor, and basically you have a key to it and it's a pod of rooms share that one bathroom, which has multiple shower stalls and bathroom stalls and sinks and stuff. So it's normally like 4 to 6 rooms. So anywhere between like 12 and 16 students are kind of sharing that one bathroom. Then we have our suite style, which is the kind of residence hall I lived in, which is you and your roommate have your room. It's attached to a bathroom, but that bathroom is also attached to another room. So 4 people are sharing one bathroom. We have some super suite styles where you kind of share a common living room, and you either have 1 or 2 bathrooms, and you either have 2 or 4 bedrooms. So you either have your own bedroom or you share a bedroom, but normally you're sharing a bathroom with just one other person. And then we do have full apartment style. So you can actually have your own 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom apartment, or 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom apartment. I kind of mentioned those the way that they are price-wise. So your traditional residence hall is going to be your cheapest. Your one that you are living in your full apartment, that's going to be the most expensive. That one's also the farthest away from campus. So you have to kind of take the bus in unless you want to walk the very far distance, which we don't recommend. So just kind of, there's a lot of perks and pros and cons to each of them. So just kind of what you're comfortable with, how much money you're comfortable on spending. If you go to that ResLife website, so reslife.txstate.edu, you can actually see, and they have pictures, 360 views of all of the different residence halls as well as the price for them. And then another thing that Texas State has are what we call living learning communities. So this is where students will live together in one of the residence halls, and it is normally broken up by some kind of major or area of interest, and you guys live together, but you also take classes together, which is really nice because you already know someone in your classes. So it's like a built-in study buddy. You don't have to ask that random person who sat next to you on the first day of your history class, hey, you want to study together? You already know those people. So we have some for like pre-med, there's, your pre-nursing. We have ones for people in the STEM programs. There's the honors one, which I mentioned. Then there's one that's just called Residence College. It's open to students of any major. You just take your core classes together instead. So kind of cool things like that. There's also a lot of ways to be involved at Texas State. So we have over 400 different organizations. So whether that's an honors organization or something based around your major, just kind of a special interest group, like the Creative Writing Club. Don't have to be an English major to be in the Creative Writing Club. They are open to anyone to come and join. Greek life, so fraternities, sororities, a lot of community service organizations. My biggest piece of advice, whether you come to Texas State or you end up going somewhere else, get involved. That is where you're going to meet most of your friends, not so much from your classes. You'll meet some people in your residence hall where you live together, but the people that I still talk to are the people that I met through the organizations that I joined. And so the one that I still texted right before I started this program, my best friend was in one of the organizations I was in. So you have that. There's also ways to be involved athletically. So we do have our own rec center on campus, which is going to have, free to you. You already pay the fee, so you can go and work out anytime it's open. They've got like sand volleyball pits. There's a pool, all that good stuff. But they also run the intramural team. So that is where you and other people on the campus get a group together and you compete against other people on the campus. So they have things like softball and flag football, basketball, soccer. They do dodgeball tournaments. They do esports leagues. And then we do have club sports. So we have 36 different sports where you actually compete against other people at another university, just not at that national NCAA level. So this is things like rugby, lacrosse, weightlifting, swimming. There's quite a few other ones, obviously, because there's 36 of them. So you can definitely look online and figure out what we have in that. But then we are Division I in NCAA. We are part of the Sun Belt Conference. So we have football, basketball, baseball, softball, women's volleyball, women's soccer, golf, tennis, cross country, track and field. I'm definitely leaving something out, but those are the ones I can think of off the top of my head. So cool thing about Texas State, and we're really excited to, actually get out and be able to participate and see games again. But as long as you have your Texas State ID, you do not have to pay for an additional sports pass. It's kind of already built into your fees and tuition. So you can go to any home game just by showing your Texas State ID. So that's kind of a really cool thing, especially at a university our size. And that's kind of Texas State in a nutshell when it comes to things about our campus. Again, if you have questions, we'll definitely go over them, but I'm gonna kind of switch gears here and talk about what it takes to apply, be admitted, and then pay for Texas State. So first there, you're gonna see our recommended curriculum. We're wanting you to have your 4 years of English, 4 years of math, 4 years of science, at least 3 years of social studies, your 2 years of foreign language, fine arts, and PE. We do want to see English 4, not college prep math, if you can do that, as well as math. We're wanting to see Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, and then an advanced math. So that's something along the lines of pre-cal, statistics, discrete math, advanced quantitative reasoning, something like that. Again, college prep math, not so much. For assured admission, we are looking for our students to, based on their class rank and then their test score. Some schools may not assign you a rank, and that's fine. We as Texas State will assign you a rank based off of, it's what is listed in the House bill, but basically we assign it based off of your GPA, the highest GPA possible, your current valedictorian, as well as other historical data. It's just something to keep in mind. So class rank, if you're in top 10% of your graduating class, there is no minimum SAT or ACT score. First quartile, it's 1,000 or 20. Second quartile, so that top 50%, it's a 1090 or 22. Third quartile, 1250 or 26. And then if you are in that bottom 75%, it is a 1330 or a 29. So something to keep in mind, Texas State currently, if you are going to be a senior this year and are applying to for fall 2022, test scores are not required. If you are currently going into your junior year, be checking on our website. We do not know what is going to happen, if we will be needing test scores or not for fall 2023, which is something to keep in mind. If you either are applying without a test score because you're coming in fall 2022, or you apply and your test score doesn't meet the assured admission, that's okay. As long as you are in the 3rd quarter or above, we do a holistic review. That's where the test scores are going to be kind of talked about, but not the be all end all. And so what we need for that is your application, which you can do either on Apply Texas or Coalition for College. And we want that filled out as completely as possible. So make sure that you are including that information, that extracurricular information. If you've held a job, if you had any awards, if you've done any volunteer experience. If you couldn't do that because you were doing something else, you had to help your family, you were working all the time, let us know that as well. There is an optional essay. Doesn't matter which one you do. You can do any of them. If you are going through holistic review, though, we highly, highly recommend that you fill out that essay. Then we need to see your high school transcript, and then either your application fee or your fee waiver. And then if you've taken any college classes and you want to send us your college transcript, that's fine. It's not necessary for the admissions process, but we will need it prior to you starting at Texas State if you did take those. And then again, SAT or ACT scores if you want them to send them in if you're for fall 2022 or after if they're necessary. For fall 2022, the test scores cannot hurt you. They can only help you when it comes to admission. There is one thing that we'll talk about in scholarships a little bit later, but just kind of know for admissions purposes, it cannot hurt you. Fall, our priority date is March 1st, but we do normally take applications after, but I highly, highly recommend getting everything in even prior to March 1st. We do have some programs that have some specific requirements. So I did kind of mention audition. So music, including sound recording technology, musical theater, the acting portion of our theater, because there's 3 different kind of subsections of theater. So the acting portion and dance all do require an audition. The earliest deadline at Texas State is our musical theater and acting. They have a November 1st deadline. So if you are applying for either of those programs, please make sure you get everything in by November 1st. McCoy College of Business, you do either have to meet assured admission requirements, or if you're applying without a test score, we do a secondary holistic review. So there is the possibility that you might be admitted to the university, but not the McCoy College of Business at first. But there are avenues of how to do that after your first year while being at Texas State. Then there are some that you'll see are pre-major. They either require you to do some kind of initial coursework and get a minimum GPA, or in the event of things like nursing, pretty much all of our health, College of Health Professions, and then our social work program. You spend your first 2 years kind of doing all of that core curriculum, get that prerequisite coursework, and then you apply during your second year to those programs to be admitted. And now, fun stuff. Money. How much does it cost to go to Texas State? So you'll see there, most all of you should be under that Texas resident. So you're looking about $26,000, $27,000 for average cost of attendance for a full year. That includes tuition and fees, books and supplies, living on campus and a meal plan, and then personal and miscellaneous. So now just know that you're not 100% spending $27,000. That is just an average. It's kind of the thing that they base your financial aid package off of. So I know you're working with CCC, so they're going to make sure you do it, but fill out your FAFSA as early as it opens. As soon as it opens on October 1st, get that filled out so that you can get that in by the priority deadline, so that you can have the most opportunity for money if you meet that financial need. So grants, which is that free money that you don't have to pay back once you graduate. We do have work studies where you work on campus. That money goes back to pay your tuition. And then we have loans, which is that money that you would have to pay back once you graduate. But then we do have scholarships. So we do have a assured merit-based scholarship. So we are just looking at a couple different things. So if you are ranked in the top 35% of your graduating class and you get an SAT score of at least an 1160 or a 24 or higher, there is opportunity for assured merit-based scholarship. If you are applying for fall 2022, where test scores are not required, if you submit your application without a test score, we will do a review for a merit scholarship. If you submit a test score and it is lower than the 1160 or the 24, test scores trump everything. So this is the one place where it may not be 100% beneficial to submit the test score if it is lower in that regard, but definitely kind of something to think about. We do have national scholarships. If you took the PSAT and you end up being a national merit finalist or a national Hispanic scholar, there are some scholarships out there for that. And then we have competitive scholarships. So this is a secondary application that you have to fill out. And then you fill out based on the scholarships that you are eligible for. So there's one that are like students of or children of alumni. There's ones for biology majors or engineering majors or business school majors. You have that opportunity. This is kind of the earliest deadline for most students. It is a December 15th deadline. You have to be admitted to Texas State and have filled out that competitive scholarship application prior to December 15th. So I like to say apply before pie. If you get everything in by Thanksgiving, you're pretty good to make sure that you've been admitted, and that scholarship deadline is going to be in by December 15th. And then come visit us. So we are currently open for individual tours. So we are doing on-campus tours in person Monday through Friday. I think it's 4 or 5 times a day right now, but they are still limited on the amount of people who can come at the time. But we will be giving tours next year as well. And we have currently planned our Bobcat Days for this upcoming school year, which are our open house events. These are normally on Saturdays. So there's one in October, one in November, one in February, and one in April. The nice thing about Bobcat Days is all of our academic departments are there. You can talk to people in the academic departments. A lot of the other departments are there, like career services and housing. It's the only time you can actually visit all of our residence halls. So a lot of people do like to come to Bobcat Days. And then we have academic visit days. Those have not been scheduled for the upcoming school year yet, but they're normally like the College of Mass Communications has one. The engineering school will have one. So they're more of a little bit longer of a day than normally either a Thursday or Friday. And the nice thing about those is that you kind of normally get to meet with an advisor. You might get to observe a class, normally have lunch on campus, those kinds of things. And that is all I have for you. So I am going to, that's just kind of the general admissions information, but I know you're going to be getting my email anyway. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we can go into questions.
Wow, what a great presentation, great presentation. So guys, if you have any questions, feel free again to unmute yourselves. Remember we spoke about demonstrated interest and things like that. So right now is a perfect time to show that. And you can also drop your questions in the chat box as well. We'll wait for these questions a little bit while they come in. Oh, that was great. You did a nice